What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and we are back to talk about Sistas Season 6, Episode 6, called Mending Fences. Can I tell you something? I just want them to mend the show. It's getting kind of hectic to watch this show, but let's just get into it, shall we?
Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, go on with it. Do us. So we are coming in with a force. Yes, blessings they are reap and we coursing on.
So, y'all, I'm sorry I couldn't give y'all review last week. I was in the sunny Las Vegas to see the Usher Raymond, and I enjoyed myself, had a ball, okay? So, we are getting ready to get into the Sistas review. Now, y'all, I am at my wit's end with this show. It's getting really, really hectic and crazy. The scenes are just entirely too long with a bunch of bull. I'm going to tell y'all very quickly. I had the opportunity to look at another content creator's video on Sistas. Now, I'm never going to name the content creator, but I just feel like, in my opinion, some people get a little too emotional about these shows. It's a TV show. And we have to stop trying to remake what the show is clearly showing. If Karen is looking like a fool, she's looking like a fool. It don't matter how much you try to dig with him and deep within your soul and your heart. And, I see myself in this person and, I'm just very kind-hearted. And that's a bunch of malarkey to me. For me, let me say this. In reality, I wouldn't hang out with none of these women. In reality, like some people feel like in reality, you have friends that are like this, or they, have said that, oh, I hang out with people that are similar to these people. And, sometimes if you gravitate to people that have like mind and like interests or whatever, that's cool. And I get that. But in reality, nobody is hanging out with a group of women that gravitate towards terrible relationships or can't let go. I'm married. All of my friends are not married, but most of them are, okay? Everybody got stuff going on in their individual relationships, but they're still married. They're working it out, okay? I have friends that are dating. They go through different things as they're dating, but my friends are not idiots. And I'm not going to encourage my friends. See, the problem I have with this show, that it's not realistic. My friends would tell me when I'm doing something crazy, or you got to leave this dude alone. And at some point, I'm going to get within myself that this is crazy. I'm out here looking like a clown. Period. Like, I would never be Andy. It wouldn't take for me to have a drunken high night for me to be like, you know what? Maybe I should leave this dude alone. Yeah. I really don't think that this is right for me. And it wouldn't take, I would never be Danny, the broke friend that doesn't have any direction, and you keep gravitating to these nobody dudes, and the one that really wants to give you some attention, you're pushing them away. At your big age, I'm sure all of them are in their mid-30s at this point in the show. They're not in their 20s. So it's like, what? And Sabrina, I couldn't be that naive. And any of my friends that are, I'm going to point it out. And Maurice would have gotten checked by now. He would never be talking to me like that, or anybody that I know. So yes, it's a lot of unrealistic stuff. And Karen, let's not ever leave her out. Karen is ridiculous. She is let me explain to you. Karen is a man eater. That's what she is. And anybody that has all this sympathy for Karen, you probably are a future bitter baby mama in the making. You are. Or you're a person that just can't let go. You might also be a fatal attraction. Yeah, you also might be that. Because if a man doesn't want you anymore, I go off of what people say and your actions. Your actions speak louder than words. There is no way that I would be chasing after Zach or even remotely think about being with him out of all the things that he's done to her. If anything, I would be happy to see him move on with Fatima. Now, am I going to be jumping into Aaron's arms? Not necessarily, but he's a person that I will give the time of day to at least get to know. You so skeptical of Aaron, but you ready to jump back into the turmoil with Zach at the drop of a hat. I just think that we have to be realistic with this show. And while we are being realistic, we're not being fed realism or reality, because this just simply wouldn't happen. Relationships like this don't exist in a group of educated women. Okay. Hello, I know I'm in one. I've been friends with several different types of women. Hell, I just went on a girls' trip with 3 other women, and none of them are this dumb or at all. And my friends are pretty successful. And they would never let a man treat them like this, ever. So, everybody want to think with their heart and not their brain, but everybody in society ain't thinking like that. So, I don't know. Like I said, people that are so in love with Karen, you either a fatal attraction or you a bitter baby mama in the making. And that's just my opinion. Moving on, let's get into the show. So the show starts off with Danny in the bed with Preston. Okay. Why? Danny is using the excuse that she was too drunk and high. She, they done did all these sexual escapades. Apparently, she done made a video on the sidelines and didn't even know it. She's like, I didn't do any of this stuff that you're saying I did. Then she looks on her phone and he was like, yeah, you told me you loved me and that, you just are afraid to get hurt. So now she's, speaking, drunk minds are speaking sober mindsets, right? She's telling him the truth now because she's not coherent. I'm like, this is rich. This is extremely rich. Okay. But moving on, she's apparently proved her love to Preston during this whole escapade and blackout session. She's embarrassed. She's like, I don't believe any of that. I didn't say it. Oh my God, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. He was like, yes, you did. You did mean it. I'm like, okay, Preston, you know what? At this point, just go on and find Mindy. Because Danny ain't got nothing to offer you anyway. She is a scallywag all the way through and through. She's a clown. I don't even know why you want to be with her. I don't know what Danny has to offer this man that he's so impressed with. I mean, she might be putting it down to the down in the bedroom, but that can't be it. That can't be all that you can offer somebody at this point. I'm over Danny. So Danny goes in the bathroom to get her life together, and she's still in denial about all the things that she done did. And apparently she wanted to upload some things onto a very known adult website. Okay. I don't know why we had to add that in there. And then he made a joke about her and some booty play. I know that Preston is attractive and y'all are just trying to give him some lines, but if y'all not going to really give this man a true spot on the show, let's just move on. Okay. Moving on, we have Andy and Karen in the next scene. Karen is being delusional yet again. So Andy is calling Fatima because she's letting her know that she needs her to reschedule some meetings. And then Karen comes up and she's talking to Karen. So she's like, I got to tell you something. And Karen's like, I got to talk to you too. She's like, Zach is coming to the shop. He's going to help me rebuild my shop. And Andy is like, well, I said I was going to help you rebuild it. Why you don't want the money from me? Mind you, let's pause. Andy, you don't have no money. Remember, Tyler? And here's the thing. Tyler Perry forgets what he writes. Andy put up all of her money to get Sabrina out of the big house, right? So where does she get money now where she can now help Karen get her shop together? Karen, where's the $77,000 that Mr. Man gave you the first time? Where is your money that you get from your clients when you doing their hair? Are you saving any money? Where's your mama? Because I know they called her. And why she ain't show up yet? So many questions. But Karen is like, no, I want the money from Zach. Why do you want the... I'm convinced that Karen only wants the money from Zach because she wants to stick it to Fatima. She wants to show Fatima that I got your man and you can't do anything about it. Okay? Girl, you don't have nothing. Because Zach is not leaving Fatima for you. He's simply not. He doesn't want to go back to Toxicville. Karen needs some intense therapy to deal with men. Maybe because I don't know how much her father was in her life or not, but maybe lacking having her father around, she has some sort of built-in resentment towards men. Or she feels the need to have some sort of power over men if they've treated her bad, or whatever the case may be, or the thought of the potential of a man treating her bad. Now she wants to go back and get her just desserts from Zach. Or she sees that Zach is a good dude now, so she feels like she deserves to reap the benefits of him. But here's the thing, you don't bring that out of him. You bring out the negative side of him. So in actuality, the man that you crave Zach to be, he's not that man with you because you don't ignite that fire inside of him. You bring out the BSery of it all. The arguing, the foolishness, the tomfoolery of it all. The back and forth bickering and arguing over the past. You gave me this and you cheated on me and this. Y'all can't move on. So that's never going to work. So you trying to get this Zach, Aaron has offered you the money. Everybody done offered you the money, but you want to get it from Zach because you want to stick it to Fatima. Moving on, girl. Zach don't want you. Okay. Let me make that very clear. He done had some midnight conversations with you, but Zach has some commitment issues that he needs to deal with. He really does. And for the love of Fatima is not enough to change Zach and his foolishness. Zach needs to get it together because Zach has this need to fill his love cup. And he needs it to overflow. He needs constant reassurance from somebody. And Zach doesn't necessarily know how to deal with conflict, but I think that he craves conflict in certain situations because of how he's grown up with his mother. It's like Karen gives him the drama. It's the whole, I want to argue with you and then give it to you real hard in the bed later. That's turmoil. That's not proper communication. That's not dealing with things. That's not growing up. You need to grow up, Zach. Okay. So moving on, now Andy is like, well, I'm going to tell you what I have to tell you. And I just want you to know that I don't want you to get mad, but you know that Zach is in love with Fatima. Okay. So you're just going to have to move on. And I'm just like, girl, your friend is not going to move on. She's not. She's delusional. So then Andy begins to share with Karen that she had a conversation with Gary and she told him while she was inebriated that, she's only around him basically for the peen. Okay, girl. And of course, like I thought, she want to take it back. She's like, maybe a part of me feels like I should have said that. Like, I really do believe that, but I didn't want to tell him that. Girl, booing by Andy. You gonna have that man right back over your house tomorrow or later on that night. He gonna call you, be like, can we talk? Let's talk about it over dinner. Let's talk about what you said. Because I don't think you meant it. I don't believe that. So let's just have a conversation. I forgive you. That's exactly what's going to happen. And the cycle of hamster wheel of Gary and Andy is going to continue. I'm over it. Okay. Moving on. So Danny calls Sabrina and she talks about the whole night of foolishness with, she starts to try to talk about the whole night of crazy with Preston, and how she don't remember and all this and the third. And Sabrina cuts her off. It's like, girl, I ain't got time to do this. I got to go and see my lawyer, because I ain't trying to be getting all these years in jail. So I got to go and clean this up real quick. So I'll talk to you later about what you got going on, because I'm sure it's a bunch of BS. So moving on. In the next scene, Zach gets up. He's laying down in the bed. Fatima comes out of the bathroom and she's looking at Zach. She gets a call from Andy. She gets the message where Andy was like telling her to come to the office early because she needed her to reschedule her meeting. And so she listens to the voicemail, sees Zach in the bed, and she's looking at him, and Zach doesn't wake up. So she's trying to hurry up and get out of there. But I'm like, are you really trying to hurry up? Because you're taking your sweet old time by staring at him. So she leaves out before Zach eventually rolls out of the bed, rolls over and gets up. So Zach notices that Fatima left, and he's like, her old petty tail, she gonna make up her side of the bed. I'm like, she didn't make up her side of the bed. And if y'all so mad at each other, why did y'all even sleep in the same bed together? Whatever, y'all. That Zach and Fatima are just both very childish. So Zach gets a phone call from Karen. So Karen is like, I'm going to the shop. Are you still gonna come, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come help you. So she's like, do you want breakfast? I can go get you the breakfast place that we love, that we like. Girl, stop. This is what I'm talking about. Karen just wants to win. She doesn't care. She might love Zach still, but she cares more about foolishness than her own mental health. Why am I gonna, if Zach pissed you off so much where you wanted to write these letters that your mom told you to write, and you talked about all this stuff, you're not over him, but you need to make yourself get over it. Don't keep putting yourself in the mix. You yourself talk about how trash he is. He's terrible. He's this, he's that. But yet you want to go dive back into the waters of foolery. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't. Because anybody that is a glutton for punishment, the way that Karen is displaying herself, have at it, sis. Because you got to listen when people show you who they are. I've never been one to stick in a situation where a dude is full of shit. Honestly, I never have. Like, if I was in relationships and I saw even the slightest inkling that you were a fool, you were automatically blocked and deleted. I'm not talking to you anymore, because life is too short to be constantly dealing with somebody's BS. Seriously. And in relationships, once I found that you are poor with communication, or you say one thing and do something else, I'm releasing you to the wild, because that's where you want to be if you think you're going to sit up here lying to me. And that's how I've always been. I have never been one to put up with nobody's BS. Maybe because my father showed me through his relationship with my mother how a man is supposed to treat a woman. So when I see signs that you don't have those guidelines in place and you don't know what you're doing, because I'm going to deliver on my portion of the relationship. But when I see that you're not going to deliver, I release you to the wild. I'm not going to be sitting up here trying to puzzle piece and put you back together again. Humpty Dumpty, go ahead and fall on, because I ain't got time. Moving on. Zach is going to go to the shop. And, she's talking about, oh, is Fatima there? What's she saying? Da, da, da. Karen, don't worry about what Fatima is saying. Mind your business. That's all. Just mind your business. That lets me know that Karen just wants to win. She don't really care. Moving on. Hayden goes to talk to Gary. Long story short, Hayden tells Gary that he done ended up marrying homegirl. Okay. Listen. Now Hayden is he's like, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. Should I get it annulled? But then I don't want to, because I really like her. Okay, Hayden, get it annulled, not annulled, whatever. She already said that she gonna get your money. So now you're married to her with no prenup, And it is what it is. So Gary is like, he's asking Gary for advice. Gary is telling him to get it annulled, but then he keeps on giving rebuttals as to why he don't want to get it annulled. And Gary is like, well, why are you over here wasting my time talking about this? You already walked in here knowing what you wanted to do. Why are you bothering me with this? Go away from me with this bull. And so then he's like, well, I listen to you talking about Andy all the time, but you don't want to hear me give me advice. I just need some advice. And then so Gary's like, I have my own stuff going on. So he's like, what, Andy again? So then Gary starts to tell him about Andy. And then he starts to pull back. He's like, you know what? No, I don't even want to talk to you about it because you tripping. So I don't know what they wanted to get out of this whole scene, but okay. Hayden's still gonna be married to damn what's her face. Moving on. The decoy. So now we have Sabrina going over to Maurice and Calvin's house. So she comes in and she sees Calvin sitting on this casting couch, okay, because that's what it looked like. So she's, basically appalled by the color. She was like, oh my gosh, this is so ugly. Then he says, oh, this is my couch. It came out of my storage. Then she changes her mind. She's like, oh, yeah, it really fits the decor in here. Yeah, I love it. Girl, why are you lying to this boy? Moving on, she's telling Maurice to come on out because it's time for them to go and see the lawyer. So Maurice is in the room and he don't want to come out of the room. And I'm like, Maurice, listen, we don't got time for this. Get your ass together and come on here. We don't have time for this. You want to get 5 to 20, 15 to 20 years in prison? I don't think so. So get your tail out of this bed and let's go. I'm just tired. I'm sick of Maurice. I need them to develop his character better because he's just becoming annoying at this point. And I liked him being funny. I don't like him being annoying. So he finally gets out of the bed with his blue nightgown on, child, which is my favorite. He had on my favorite shade of blue. I love that nightgown. I might need to get that for myself. That's just a side note. But moving on, he's like, I don't want to go. I'm not trying to go see no lawyer. I don't really want to deal with this. I'm just going to get Q to confess. That's going to be my way of getting out of it. And you're not going to get Q to confess. That dude is a whole fool, okay? He's a professional criminal. He's not going to do anything to get the heat off of him. He's going to do whatever he can to stay out of jail, okay? So Maurice agrees to finally get himself together so they can go. So moving on, Andy is in the office talking to Fatima, okay? So Fatima tells her, so Zach is up front and she's like, I don't want to see him. So the receptionist lady comes and tells them that Zach is in the office and he wants to see Fatima. And Fatima ain't with it. So she runs to the back and Andy is like, Fatima's busy. She can't see you right now. Because Zach is there because he just wants to tell Fatima that he's going to go see Karen. So I'm like, Zach, these pop-ups at Fatima's job, like this is a whole lot. This is her place of business. And you can't just keep popping up at this girl's job. She works at a law firm. This ain't no grocery store where you can just come and pretend like you buying some celery and grapes just to have a conversation with her in her line. This is too much. You got to keep it professional. And my thing is, why are you even offering to go and do anything for Karen? Leave it alone. So, child, Andy and Fatima are talking. And basically, Andy is not going to share with her what Karen told her about Zach going and paying for stuff and she trying to get back with Zach and all this, that, and the third. But Fatima is questioning whether she even wants to be with Zach anymore because she's just really getting tired of it. So she's expressing herself to Andy and saying, she don't even know what to do anymore. Like the way that Zach was acting towards Karen throughout that whole thing. She was like, I know that Karen, y'all thought that she was unalived, but it was still, she felt like it was still very disrespectful how Zach handled it. But here's my thing, Fatima. Have a conversation with Zach. You sitting up here over here twiddling your ring around and taking your ring off and all this stuff. You are just as immature as Zach to me. Why don't you talk to him and say, I don't appreciate how you didn't even, I understand that there was something going on and you thought that Karen was hurt or whatever the case may be, and she could possibly be carrying your child. I am very understanding of that. I have tried to be wholeheartedly understanding with the whole situation, but I'm not going to lie to you. It hurt me that once you found out that she was alive, you were hugging her and you didn't even come and check on me to see how I was doing. But then Fatima, you left before he could even think about talking to you. So you got to grow up, Fatima. You can't think that this man is going to read your mind at every turn. You gotta communicate with him and tell him how you're feeling. See, Fatima is that typical female that feels like a man should just read your mind and know what you thinking. Or it's obvious that you shouldn't have did that. No, tell him, I don't like when you did XYZ. I didn't appreciate this. This is how I felt when in this situation when it happened. Because guess what that does? You keep them honest. You keep them at a point where they have to express themselves to you, which a lot of men have issues doing. A lot of men have issues expressing themselves or communicating because one, they don't know what the heck is going on in our minds most of the time. And two, we don't prompt them to tell the truth. We sit around and huffing and puffing, waiting on them to ask us what's wrong. Then when they ask what's wrong, nothing. Ain't nothing wrong. Saying that over and over instead of just simply having the conversation. Ladies, we got to stop that. That's childish as okay? Stop it. If you have a problem, be open enough to communicate what your problem is with your mate. Because 9 times out of 10, men are problem solvers for the most part. They don't want to be having these long, drawn out conversations over your emotions. They want to nip it right in the bud. Sometimes you can even say, listen, I don't want you to solve my problems. I just want you to hear how I feel. And I want to know how you going to handle it in the future. But all of that creates what? The opportunity to have a conversation. Men or women, we can't read each other's minds, okay? Communicate with your partner, Fatima, because you running away from him. He's coming up there to tell you that he's going to go see Karen, but you want to play little games. Girl, stop. Just stop. And put that damn ring back on because you know the hell you're going to be wearing it. Moving on. So now we have Maurice and Sabrina and Calvin at the lawyer's office. So they're talking, and the lawyer says, yeah, that recording that Q has it's really bogus, but if it sticks in court, you guys could basically get 20 years in jail. And Maurice goes off. He's like, oh my God, I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And Sabrina is upset. Like they're just really trying to figure out what they're going to do to get out of this situation. And all of this is a bunch of minutia. It is ridiculous. There is no way in a real court of law, and I get that this is all art imitates life or whatever, but this is just plain dumb foolishness right here. Just in this whole situation with this case and get rid of Q's character because he really just has no meaning for this show whatsoever. His character is not adding anything. Okay, moving on. Karen is at the shop. Aaron is already there with a daggone paint suit on, child, because he ready to get to work. I don't know how he got in there because everything boarded up, but hey, he got in there. The body has been moved. I don't know if they done found the man's family yet. Who knows? But Aaron is ready to get to work. So after Karen done already told him to stop popping up, leave her alone. Here's the thing with Karen and Aaron. I feel like Karen wants a bugaboo. I think she says things to Aaron and Aaron just keeps on coming back. And Karen secretly likes the fact that he is constantly trying and he just wants her so bad. But it also annoys her. If he would just stay away, like she's saying that she wants him to stay away, then she would be like, Aaron ain't even called me. Oh, he trifling. He is just like the rest of them. She's always giving him mixed signals. So that's why he keeps on popping up like roaches. Just keep on coming by. Can't get rid of them. Thought I set the bombs and got rid of all of them, but here you go again. So now he's here because he wants to help get this whole place set up. Okay. So Karen is like, well, you don't have to be here. You can leave. Thank you. I told you you didn't have to come. Because she trying to hurry up and get rid of him before Zach come. Because that's who she wants to write the check. Okay. Even though he already wrote your ass a check for $77,000, which I don't know why you can't use that. But okay, girl. So Zach arrives. And him and Aaron have a quick exchange or whatever the case may be. And then Karen is talking to him and she's just like, thank you so much for coming. And, I just appreciate you. And, this is what we need to do, blah, blah, blah. So they talking and she's just thanking him. Aaron walks off, I guess, and she gets close to Zach and tries to kiss him on the cheek. And here go Fatima. You ain't want to talk to him at the office. How you know that he was out there with Karen? So then you show up and you see this going on. It's like, child, this is a fool. I can't with this show. I really can't. This is a bunch of bogus BS. And I guess we're going to see what happens in the next episode. Thank y'all for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that's watching this foolishness too. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.